3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Academy of Men podcast, episode number 3, with your co-host Joel and my co-host Edgar Moore Rios.
We're just each other's co-hosts.
We're just each other's co-hosts. We are glad to be back.
Episode 3.
Yes,
sir.
Literally. Continuing on the path of consistency and discipline and seeing where this takes us.
Yeah.
So welcome, my brother.
Thank you, bro.
Welcome to episode number 3. What a bombshell was the last episode.
Oh, that. Yeah, bro. The last episode was great.
Bro, I listened to it at least 5 to 6 times.
Oh, yeah. Me too. For sure.
And I was just like, whoa, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
You know, I generally believe that this is what God called me to do.
What we're doing right now?
Yeah, to speak. Like...
Oh, to speak.
To speak.
Okay.
Yeah. To use my voice for something.
Yeah.
Like if it was a gift that was given to me, and therefore I must use it.
Yeah.
Or lose it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I've always felt like I was an oversharer.
Mm.
And I always sometimes feel like I speak over people sometimes. Not like in a verbal sense, like you're talking, I just talk. But sometimes I feel like I say things to people to just para darle consejo, to give input.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
just goes right over their head.
Yeah, most people are.
Like, because they just either in that moment weren't ready to hear it, or just like the person they're receiving it from was just not. It wasn't clicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, but there were so many little, like, topics that we discussed that I was just, like, I was perplexed.
Yeah.
You know, even the ones with the Joker, the Bible ones, just so many different things. I was just like, whoa.
We jumped around a little bit, but I did still feel like even though we jumped, it all kind of, like, felt a part of just one piece. I think it was great, and it's only up from there.
Yeah. So we're super excited to bring you guys episode number 3. First of all, how are you, bro? I think it's been a couple weeks since I've seen you.
Yeah. I'm good, bro. I'm good. Just working a lot, coming to a lot of realizations.
Yeah.
Romantically.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yeah.
La cosa no tan fácil, pero pa'lante.
Yeah, man. This past couple weeks for me has been game changing for sure.
Have you noticed every time we call, like we speak over the phone, first I cut to the chase.
Yeah, you go like, how are you?
First, no. First I always go, first of all, how is Joel?
Yeah.
And then I go, all right.
Yeah,
I need you to give me information on.
Yeah. No, man, I just like, it's that human psychic, bro, that, every single one of us, whether they're listening or not, or they're, anywhere in the world, is currently going through something.
Yeah.
At one point or another. And these are some of the perspectives that we really must take in able to have empathy of people. Like these past couple weeks, I've just been so grateful at the fact that I'm not getting bombed.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you're going through a lot right now, so it's very interesting to hear you kind of just be like, you're not getting bombed.
I'm not getting bombed, and my family's not getting bombed.
Wow.
Yeah. And we're not starving, and I have enough resources to feed my family.
Yeah.
And my house hasn't been bombed either.
Yeah. By
neighboring countries. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Like, kind of that perspective where I'm just like, yo, these people, like, everybody who hasn't had their head under a rock, clearly knows that I'm talking about the Palestinians. But these people have gone through hell. Yeah. These past couple months. And I'm just like, bro, I literally get to wake up tomorrow and the day after that. Yeah. And have everything function the way it's currently functioning. Yeah. And so, I don't know, man. Just dropped kind of deep.
That is deep. That is deep. And some people lose sight of their I don't like using this word specifically, but they're privileged.
Yeah, it's a huge privilege.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Like, none of those people chose to be born there.
They did not. And neither did you.
Neither did I.
Yeah, I didn't ask to be here either. I just fucking ended up here, right?
I know. But it's so sad, man. So many people have died.
Yeah.
You know, all those kids just starving out there. And there's still no resolution.
Yeah, it's frustrating, especially when you feel like I'm very uninformed on the topic.
Oh yeah.
But especially when you might feel like if you're in there, you feel like the world is just watching.
Oh yeah.
This happen
for sure.
Nobody's
doing anything.
It's like, what do you do, though?
Like, you know, people. I don't know. I'm on top of it ever since it started.
Yeah.
Like October 7th when Hamas came into the. And I know we're not really supposed to talk on
that's right,
current events.
Yeah.
We usually don't touch on current events, but I don't know. You know, it actually touched on the topic that we were planning to discuss. You know, existential, life and death, afterlife, pre-death.
Yeah. For the record, we only have bullet points.
Yeah.
On things that we want to brush up on or speak about. In the pod. So this.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I guess, sort of touches on it, right?
It does. Existentialism and just being grateful, bro. I think that's a big part of it, 100%. And just thinking about and being grateful for the amount of grace that you've been granted by, whether if it's God that you believe in or by your parents or your situations in general. But I think it's extremely sad. It's something I've thought about a lot lately because I was listening to, a few weeks ago, I was listening to Jordan Peterson talk about how he likes to think that if he was alive during the Holocaust, he would die.
He would die?
He would be dead right now because he wouldn't be able to he wouldn't be able to witness the torture and, everything that was going on. And I found it so interesting because I'm like, I love the guy.
Yeah.
He's one of my best friends that doesn't know I exist.
Yeah.
But it's just like, where are you at right now, bro? that calladito, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just quiet about shit.
It's tough though because
I feel like personally the stakes, and this is my uneducated opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like the stakes are so high though. Everybody, of course, we can't just get involved. Like, we can't just bully our way into things anymore because there's a lot. The consequences are not just people pulling up on our beaches and fighting.
Yeah.
The consequences go deeper than that. They can bend the fabric of our realities right now. Almost literally.
Did you know that AT&T had an outage?
Yeah,
a nationwide outage, and people were talking about that it was a cyber crime, a cyber attack.
Yeah, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff on Twitter going around about.
There's a movie on Netflix directed by the Obamas, produced by the Obamas.
I heard about it.
And it talks about a massive cyber attack to the U.S. and how everything just goes to shit pretty quickly. Yeah,
it's pretty scary to think about because I work at a bank right now, and I thought to myself, what happens? Because I have two jobs, right? The EMS job and I got the bank. So what will happen? I know what happens with EMS providers. Like, we get deployed places, we get they use us. You know what I mean, we're first responders, but bankers, I'm like, what happens to the banking system? And granted, I'm just a pawn right now. Yeah, because I haven't gotten any crazy promotions or anything like that. So I'm on the teller line, but I'm thinking about my mortgage rep. I'm thinking about the fraud department. I'm thinking about the cybersecurity team, the security team that protects the money in the bank, everything. I'm just like, what?
What do you think happens to them?
Yeah, I'm like, what's gonna happen to me? Am I just gonna be sitting in an empty bank making phone calls, or is it like working from home? Or,
if everything goes to shit, right?
Yeah, like if people, just pull up on us and start. It's really scary to think about, but I do appreciate the fact that you immediately lean towards the positive of the situations and just you're able to close your eyes and be grateful for the fact that you can feed everybody.
For sure. I think in the wake of so much death, you're just like, fuck, I'm glad to be alive. Yeah.
That's so deep, bro.
Yeah.
The human condition is crazy, bro.
Yeah, man, because it's so outside of their control. Literally. Yeah. Like the people there they have no control, absolutely no control of who's launching the bombs, where they're landing,
the bullets that are
flying in, the geopolitical climate of XYZ.
Right.
Except these people are just like regular people, probably a banker, who has a cousin, a mom, a titi, whatever. And just like people just, hey, a couple months ago, my entire family was here. We used to visit each other every Sunday, whatever. Now at least half of them are dead.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's tough, man. Sorry to start the conversation with such a negative tone, but I just think it's so interesting to as humans overall, because technically speaking, we're in a sense the same species.
We are.
You know what I'm saying? And so fuck, bro, why is it necessary for us to literally obliterate ourselves to this point?
Yeah. And why to this extent?
Yeah. And how long and how far are we really gonna take it? One of the biggest things that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that nuclear weapons is the ultimate equalizer in the world.
Is. I agree.
Right? Because of it,
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer for everybody.
May everybody put respect on your name.
Not only that, you can't launch your nukes because the other dude got nukes. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, bro, we're in a stalemate right now.
Yeah, we are.
But again, going back to the whole species thing,
we can still hack each other and make each other angry enough to the point where we could nuke each other.
But even if we launch it, I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about just complete.
Mm-hmm. I hurt you, you hurt me, we both die.
Not only do we both die, probably the human existence is almost gone.
Yeah, because if you bomb this guy, you're gonna say, "Oh, he bombed my friend, so I'm also gonna bomb him." They're like, "Oh, nah, you can't touch him, so I'm gonna touch you," and then everybody's just gonna end up.
Yeah, and then the aftermath of what happens after that is
what happens to the planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Bro,
isn't it interesting how dividing yet uniting certain belief systems and monetary values are in general? Dividing
and uniting.
Because it's so, you can't deny the amount of unity that there is in religion. And
sure.
The amount of unity that there is in monetary gain, bro.
Just the dollar in general.
Yo, bro, I've seen like the factory, just businesses in general. This room that we're in right now was built by a team of men chasing, monetary gain, and it's very uniting. But it's like just as much as it is uniting, it's very dividing.
For sure.
And that's just like, I'm talking like on a psychological level, and we could go about it physically, tax brackets, like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, see your eyes wandering again.
Yeah, even in a social standard.
Yeah.
It's so dividing.
It sounds like a paradox, but it's that I have no other way to kind of explain it. Like, yeah, because arguably speaking, the reason why most of the good and bad things happen in the world is through unity and through division.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, aren't all humans social creatures?
Yeah, we are. As much as a lot of us like to believe we're like couch potatoes and rats and stuff.
Not only are we social creatures, but we are also we have a group mentality.
Yeah.
Us versus them. The where we focus on the differences compared to the what really makes us similar.
Yeah, I think the we have the potential to focus on the similarities, but I think just the way the differences neurologically hit the brain almost make them more addicting to think about and more enticing, and it's the most thought-provoking. And when you have to lead and when you have to sell, you have to go with what is most enticing, and a lot of that is negative emotion or sometimes sexual emotion. But yeah,
I had a guy that once told me that it's imperative for us to be racist.
Was it a white guy who said that?
No, it's actually a Mexican guy.
A Mexican guy.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he told me that it is imperative for us to be racist just for our survival basics.
I wish he was here so I could ask him what did he mean by that.
I mean, think about it. Let's go back a couple thousand years ago.
I'm listening.
And let's say that you're born into this group and I'm born into that group. We're probably racist against each other to an extent, maybe. Where we
racist or tribal?
Well,
because if we put a black guy in with the white people and a white person in with the black people,
wouldn't you consider tribalism the same as racism?
Yes and no.
To an extent, right?
Yeah. To a very specific extent.
Right.
I think it's just that.
Yeah. The race factor.
Yeah. You ever met like a white black guy?
Yeah.
Right. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
we could go there. We could go there. Or like a white Spanish guy.
Correct.
It's like you don't even speak Spanish. It's just like, hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you're taken back by it a little bit. But I think that's where it's just tribalism. He was just raised within a certain tribe, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
To boil down to his race, because we all have the capacity to do quote unquote good, bad, sound smart, sound dumb, etc. It's just a matter of what tribe you're a part of, in my opinion. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
I feel like I want to agree with him, but I think it sounds more tribal than it does.
I think it's more it's too simplified.
You know what? I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I do think it goes a little bit more complex than what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It goes deeper than that. But my primitive brain just can't get there. You know?
Excuse me, I'm feeling a little sick too.
Quédate ya entonces.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I'm not sure why we're built like this. And I'm not sure if we're ever going to figure it out.
Yeah. A lot of people die before they figure their own shit out, you know?
Well, I think overall as a species, are we ever going to figure that out, though?
What is the question, though, right? What is the question you would have posed?
I guess, can we unite as a species? As a species.
As a species.
And to me, the only way that would happen is if we have an existential crisis that transcends our capabilities as a species.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I think it goes like, I think like Naval would say, it's one of those questions where the question is more interesting than the answer. I think that to put it in simple terms, especially in my brain's most simple terms, I was talking with my boss today again.
Shout out to Gilroy.
Shout out to Gilroy, man. Always dropping gems. We got to have him on in the future one day. He was talking to me about how somebody he was listening to was mentioning about how we were enjoying the fruits of a tree we planted. Or you enjoy the fruits of a tree you plant. And the problem a lot of people run into is when they are sitting at the same tree and they expect a different fruit to grow. And that causes a tremendous amount of psychological friction because they don't realize that you're under the same tree, bro.
Yeah.
Whether if it's an apple tree or a hybrid, let's say for example's sake, you have a banana, apple, and orange tree. For some reason, they're all in one. You've done everything you need to make sure those three fruits grow. That's it. But now you're expecting an avocado to grow out of nowhere, bro.
Yeah, that's psychosis.
Yeah, and I think that in order for there to be a new fruit, we gotta go ahead and plant a completely different tree.
For sure.
And what I mean, what I'm aiming at here is that our society almost makes perfect sense when you think about it and you look at it in hindsight.
Our society almost makes
perfect fucking sense, bro. In my opinion, it does.
Go ahead.
Of course, there's inflation. Of course, gas is $5 now.
Yeah.
Of course, milk is super expensive.
Yeah.
Like we've we ran everything to the ground, bro. We've industrialized so much. Everything is taken out of the
farms. Oh, yeah, for
everything
sure.
Everything is put in a factory. The supply, demand, everything. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Like, currency is digital, bro.
Fuck it's not, the government doesn't care about you specifically. They're just running their numbers, and we just so happen to be on the shit end of the stick.
Yeah. We just happen to be on the ship.
Right. And it's just like, in order for us to become one, I feel like our entire system needs to be rewritten.
Yep.
And we're so far into the progress of this system.
Mm-hmm.
Like, US has this currency, China has this currency. Yep. This is how they get their meat. This is how we get our meat.
Yep.
We're so far in that it almost hurts to look at it and be like, you know what, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And now, not only are you questioning what's happening right now, you're questioning the hundreds of years of work that people have put in to get to where we are now.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of countries, including ours, need to come to those realizations that, you know, shit's not really working, and if it is, it's not really working sustainably.
Yeah, you want to know? It's so funny. Just on the monetary aspect, the reason why we are here from the United States perspective, is because we took the dollar off the gold standard.
Yeah.
The dollar, our currency, it's called a fiat currency. It's not backed by anything.
Yeah.
So before it used to be $1 is worth X amount of pounds of gold, right? And so for us to print more dollars, we needed to have X amount of gold in our reserves. The moment you take that out, now you just drive it to the ground. And you know what's funny? This has happened before in history. Like, I know that. Yeah, like when you study what it's called hyperinflation, right? And we're just talking about just the money aspect. We're not even talking about the food chain supply and everything else, right? Like, because obviously, you know, based on your statement, it goes way deeper than that.
Yeah.
But just on the money itself, it has happened to the Romans. When you go to Zimbabwe, there's like a note for like 1 million Zimbabwe. Venezuela, for example, they make bags out of the money so that they can sell the bag that's made out of money, because the money's worthless. Because it's hyperinflated. It's not worth anything.
That's so interesting.
That's wild. But because of that, and you know, a lot of people live in complete ignorance. Like, you can ask the random person on the street and have a conversation about this topic, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, most people don't even know what the Federal Reserve is. So it's just...
Even I got an idea, just I'm not concrete.
Yeah, and I'm not going to tell you that I'm an expert either, but I can at least, you know, have the conversation. But it's so out of whack, bro.
Yeah.
It's so out of whack, and yet we know it, and yet we're not preparing for it.
Yeah.
We're not preparing for that imminent doom.
Yeah, I think that our societal construct kind of like does a really good job at kind of giving us a light show at what the things are that are directly in front of us. And I've fallen victim to it, and so has everyone, you know.
Yeah.
And within reason, you can't help but fall victim to it unless you have other things covered. It's like Maslow's hierarchy need.
Yep.
You familiar with
it? Yep.
It's like, bro, I'm sorry I can't focus about the fucking Federal Reserve right now, bro.
I'm sorry I can't focus about Palestine.
I have to work today to feed my mom.
Yeah.
Or, you know, feed my kid.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, so I understand.
That's crazy.
I agree with you 100%. I think it's such a sad truth. And I'm victim to it right now. The fucking Federal Reserve. I should know what the fuck that bitch is, bro. Especially with how broke I am, right? But it's like, bro, I gotta fucking feed myself. So there's other things that need my priority.
But isn't that wild, though? It's almost like we're just wheels in a cog.
Yeah. And the world is so much bigger than you and your problems, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember you put that into perspective for me one time. Well, it's something I was always already a little bit aware of, but I remember I asked you to come come over to help me redo my budget.
Yeah.
You remember this
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna make a life-altering like career decision change, just for the record. And I asked Joel's insight and input on it, because I don't like making decisions blindly, and I just like to give myself the best chance I could give myself to succeed. And he grabbed this like empty cup of water, or it's empty glass cup that I had in my room, and he goes, "Bro, your brain right now is like this cup.
Yeah.
And my brain right now is the size of this room.
Yep.
And I can't even imagine how how big of a room the brain of Elon Musk would be."
Oh yeah, for like, sure. Yeah. Yeah,
it just always, every time I think about my issues, sometimes it's productive, and sometimes it's very counterproductive. I'm always like almost like happy to feel that it's just like, wow, this is just such a surface level problem. I'm so grateful that like, and other times it's just like, bro, I don't even know what happens next, you know?
Yeah.
I'm freaking out about this one little step, but when I get over this hurdle, there's gonna be like 6 more complex hurdles.
Yeah.
And then that's the counterproductive part, where everything just kind of like comes crashing down. But yes, in that situation, you put so much into perspective for me. I was like, wow, there's so much. And I have the shit tatted on me, right?
Yeah.
I have a message to myself that says ancora imparo. It means, and still I am learning. And I still always tend to forget that I don't know everything.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I think this is why I'm such a like avid student of history. You know, because to me, in order to understand the present, you must understand the past.
Yeah.
Right. And I think I've said that to you before.
You have.
Where it's like the fact, you know, of the hyperinflation, like that happened to the Romans, for example, and like, if you never even took the time to even like study it, you would never know. And it goes so deep beyond that, where it's like, there are so many historical events that have happened that has allowed us to be here that we will never even know about.
Yeah.
That we're not even, like, there's a library called the Library of Alexandria. And it was built by Alexander the Great in Egypt. And I'm a huge fan of Alexander the Great, and I studied him pretty thoroughly. And the Library of Alexandria was the mecca of knowledge and writing, where all information from like the known world, basically, you know, we're talking about Europe and the Middle East, would come to this place.
So it's like their version of Google.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So, exactly. And you have all sorts of writing, geometry, mathematics, history, philosophy, etc., medicine, etc. And then one day, some barbarians pulled up and burnt the whole shit to the ground. And and if you look on Google and you put Alexandria, Egypt, you can literally look at the city of Alexandria, because it's still there. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Wait. So is there burnt down, or?
Oh yeah, they burnt down the city.
Okay.
But the city still remains. Like, the foundations itself, like, people still continued to live there.
Okay.
Even after it was burnt.
What about the library?
The library was gone.
Oh, okay. Damn.
And so there's historians that say that was one of the biggest loss of information to humans in general.
Yeah.
That brought us back at least a couple thousand years.
Yeah, that is nuts, bro. You know, for some reason, all I could think about is that Avatar: Last Airbender episode.
Which one?
Where they're like in the library, and there's like this massive spirit owl inside of it.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
W show. That's a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another day, but yeah.
But, you know, to the point where it's like, there's so many things that we just, it's to your point, man. The hierarchy. Like, why should I care
Yeah.
About the Library of Alexandria that happened 2,000 years ago.
That's why, and I would love to hear your opinion on this. That's why I agree and disagree. Or that is the extent to which I disagree or agree with the quote. Specialties are made for
insects.
Because I'm just like, bro, if you when you come from a position like where we're in, it's like I can't afford to only be focused on EMS.
No,
that's
no way.
Very low, and it's almost like you. And when you and I'm sorry, I'm like choking up. There's mad shit going on in my brain right now, but I'm thinking immediately about my business.
Yeah,
I'm starting to realize that I'm a one-man army right now.
Yep.
But I'm not the best editor. I'm not the best videographer. I'm not the best marketer. I'm not the best designer. And there's so many things that I need to focus my attention on, and I have to build all of those skills up right now.
Yep.
But I'm realizing that there are people that are passively good at making content.
Yeah.
Do this shit in their sleep by accident. It's like,
yeah.
And then I'm realizing also that there's people that already know the skill of marketing.
Yeah.
They got that shit down to a T. They know when to post, how much to invest in ads. They know what needs to be present before you even start investing in ads. And here I am, bro, just trying to figure that shit out from the very beginning.
Learning.
Yeah, and I'm just learning it all. And I'm just here like, damn, bro. Like, you almost in hospitals, we have specialty teams.
Mm-hmm.
You telling me that arguably the most successful point in history where we are medically has specialties, and you telling me that's not for us? You know
what do you mean by it's not for us?
Because Naval says that we shouldn't be.
Yeah. That we are more multifaceted than we like to think.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
We are the greatest point in history.
I mean, the mere fact that you have attorneys, judges,
lawyers. And Gilroy put this into perspective for me the other day. We have this one very high-end lawyer comes in all the time. He's a client of the bank. And he says he comes in and asks you questions, bro. Think about that shit. You have an associate's in bio. You're an EMT from the Bronx who's a bank teller, and you got this lawyer who has very well over 6 figures in his accounts just coming to you and asking you like questions. Because you have access to knowledge that he doesn't. In his 8+ years, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, what, bro? You need what I got to offer you at this very moment? It's very interesting to like think about. Joel, somebody who I hold very high in my brain, calls me sometimes to help map out his thought process and to even like check him on some things. Like, what? You understand what I'm trying to like?
I see exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
A GI, a nurse is useless to me, and in a firefight, a doctor might be useless to me. Like, I'm just an EMT basic, but I can think of plenty of scenarios where I would act faster than a doctor will.
Yeah.
And my immediate 1.5 year skill set training will be 10 times more valuable than the training of the doctors.
Yeah.
So it's more so about where you kind of implement these things. And it's just a realization that I'm slowly starting to come to, because, you know,
Do you think that it's almost like how useful you are to society, or whether or not you can provide a service to society? Like, why do we even do that? Because for what it sounds like, it's a collective. It's just collective knowledge.
Yeah, we need lawyers, we need doctors, we need EMS providers, we need police officers, we need real estate agents, we need. So I don't even know. While I'm saying all this, I'm disagreeing even further with somebody I really think highly of. I wish he was here to explain himself and kind of like, but Naval, you fumbled it, bro. I don't agree with you now.
Well, I think the reason why he says that is so that we can look internally, not necessarily externally.
Okay.
Right? Because fortunately or unfortunately, we will need somebody to pull out the oil from the oil rig.
Yeah, we do, bro.
And you know what? That person is a specialist.
Yeah.
And you know what? Thank God you're a freaking specialist. Because without you, I can't get oil. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I can't get gasoline. As a matter of fact, I thank God that there is a specialist that knows how to extract natural gas.
There's a specialist that knows how to extract a baby out of the womb.
Correct.
People used to die from that.
Yeah.
Now it's primitive knowledge to us. The fundamentals became fundamentals.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, a surgeon saved my life. You know what I mean? Like, if he wasn't a specialist in that, a psychologist can't cut me open and remove 3% of my intestines.
Absolutely not.
It's a doctor.
Yeah.
It's not the kind of doctor I want opening up my guts. You know what I mean?
So I think that overall, yes, sure, there are people who are specialists.
Yeah.
But you yourself cannot say, you know, I am just X.
Yeah.
You're A through Z.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, you can argue that every single one of those quote unquote specialists are in themselves a version of A through Z in their own minds. Right? I see. Because it's like a doctor.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
A doctor still has the capability to become a dancer.
Exactly.
Within reason.
A doctor can also be is a son.
I get it. You know what? You're right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, you made that make perfect sense for me. I'm grateful for it. But I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Naval, you're not wrong. I take it back.
Yeah. No, that's how I see his statement.
Yeah. So, what were the other bullet points?
We got
you got existentialism or existentialist, right?
Existential. Yeah, existentialism, life and death, afterlife, pre-death.
Okay.
No, afterlife, afterlife, pre-death.
Afterlife and pre-death. I don't even know what we were thinking when we wrote down those bullet points.
I mean, we didn't even know what we were gonna talk about in episode 1.
That's very true.
So,
that's very true. Very true.
You know, one of the topics that I have pondered is whether or not we choose to have been born.
How so?
Well, do you consider a sperm to be a living cell or a living organism?
Quite is.
Quite is, right? Do you think a sperm can make a choice?
No.
Why not?
It doesn't have a conscience.
How do you know?
Ooh. This shit's getting real scientific, bro.
I mean, doesn't it have to make a choice between left or right?
You got a point. It do be swimming.
And so, because I used to argue with my mom, I used to be like, she would tell me, I brought you to this earth, da.
I found my own way.
And I used to tell her, like, I did not choose to be born. Like, I didn't choose to be here.
Yeah.
When quite the contrary. I could argue that I actively chose to be here.
Nah. I get what you're aiming at, but no. The makeup of a sperm does not consist of what we know needs to be present to have the ability to make decisions for itself. Same for the egg. That being said, I still agree with Little Joel saying he did not ask to be here, because the fact that your sperm, or you, if you will, made it to that, egg, is a very improbable coincidence. And people like Jordan Peterson and Gary Vee like to talk about that all the time. You're like 1 in a billion.
1 in 400 trillion.
1 in 400 trillion. Look at that. So, yeah, I think that...
Bro, a jellyfish doesn't have eyes or ears or a brain. Mm-hmm. And yet we have witnessed it make a choice.
Is it a choice or is it instinct or...
I don't know.
Yeah. feel like we need Neil deGrasse Tyson or something.
Yeah.
This conversation. No, but I still agree with the overall premise. I didn't ask to be here.
You didn't ask to be here.
No, not at all. It might be me projecting some form of frustration that I might have towards being alive, but I think that nobody really asked to be here. We just kind of like end up here.
I don't know.
Yeah, nah, you don't, nigga.
I don't know. I still have like a sense in my brain where I'm just like, there may be something.
Yeah. So what I did was, while we were talking, I Googled the word existentialism, just to be kind of like very clear on where my thought process should go. It says a philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent, determining their own development through acts of the will.
That's the whole thing. How the fuck do you have free will, but yet you didn't choose to be here? Make that make sense.
We could be asking the wrong questions.
Okay. Let me see the definition.
Yeah.
A philosophical theory or approach which emphasizes the existence of the individual person as a free and responsible agent, determining their own development through acts of the will. We either have it or we don't, bro. We either have free will or we don't. That's it.
I think we have it.
You think you have it?
I think we have it, yeah. And I'd love to argue with people who are like religious about it.
Yeah.
Because it always like, I always feel like we circle back, we chase each other around with questions.
Why do you say religious people? You like to argue with them about it?
Because if God is all knowing and all doing, and all hearing, he knows everything that's going to happen.
Correct.
So how is there free will if it's already predetermined? From the moment you're conceived, he knows the path that your life is going to take.
Correct. And the reason for that is because he transcends time.
Okay. Yeah, so how do we have free will if he already it's already mapped out. He's got you lined up with all the other codes.
I mean, just because he can see.
But he's the creator.
He is the creator, technically speaking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly. So there is no free will.
Yeah, it's like, which one do you want to believe in? Almost. And I wish my boy Zuck was here. We and him had like a very in-depth argument about this once at work, and it never concluded to anything. It just concluded to us chasing each other around in questions.
So if there is a God, who transcends time and space,
and is all-knowing,
all powerful, etc., who literally told the prophet Jeremiah that I have known you even before you were conceived in your mother's womb.
Yeah.
And also knows your death and post-death.
Right.
Right? God knows all these things.
Yeah, even if it's by a car, he knows the car that's going to hit you. He placed the car there at a certain time. He made the person drink. He made the stars align. So I always have trouble with that concept. It's like, which one do you believe in, a God or no God? And I'm a God-fearing person, but I'm just saying, like, in general, I like to poke holes at it, because it's just like how consistent. I find that there's a huge lack of consistency throughout their beliefs. Yeah. In that regard specifically.
You know, the idea of there not being a free will then also contradicts everything. Like
that's why I mean we always end up chasing each other with questions, because it just doesn't make sense.
So if God is all knowing, all powerful, knows everything is gonna happen, has predetermined, everything that's gonna happen,
Yeah.
then in essence, there is no free will.
Right.
From his perspective. But then what about from our perspective? Is there free will? Because if then there is no free will, then there's no moral hierarchy that we need to follow. Because there's no personal responsibility.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's frustrating to think about.
There's no personal responsibility because it has already been predetermined, and I'm just a log.
It's a pawn, nigga.
I'm just a log in the river.
This big.
That's going down.
Literally, a log in a river.
A log in a river that's going down.
Bumping up against everything.
The stream.
Yep, and you think you're in control, bro. It's the
You
crazy
do think
part.
you're in control.
He gave you the ability to think, process information. Or he arguably cursed us with it, depending on what you believe in.
Well,
right? Right?
According to the Bible.
Yeah, he cursed us with the knowledge.
Well, he didn't curse us. We chose the knowledge.
Oh, we didn't choose shit. They chose that shit, all right?
Well,
I wasn't Adam or Eve,
well,
bro.
you're part of the human experience, so...
I am, but I guarantee you that if, you know, if it was me there, you know what I mean?
Nah.
I feel like things would have been different.
Nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that, bro.
First of all, I would have asked, why is there a serpent talking?
First of all, you probably wouldn't even ask questions.
That's true. But guess what? If and this is a very interesting segue to if it was me, and it's interesting even more because we're talking about how we don't have the will to choose.
Right. Yeah.
God made him make that mistake, arguably. Right. So God, he instilled in them the temptation. Right? Because the devil, the serpent, can't create. He could only influence.
Right.
So he put just enough temptation and just enough thought into both of them to make them persuadable by the serpent. Also, there are people in the Bible listed, very famous stories, that God knows he didn't instill enough temptation in them to be swayed by the serpent or the devil himself. And he's bet his life on it, right? Remember that? What's that one story you told me about in the desert? He was like, go ahead, bro, take everything you want from him. Just don't touch his soul.
Yep.
Because I know his soul is pure.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's and so you're telling me God didn't arguably instill this certain amount of temptation in Satan? He didn't instill this certain amount of confidence in Satan? Was Satan just a pawn in God's book? Because why didn't he make any other angel that way? I mean, he arguably did make a team of angels feel this way, and maybe it was a probability thing for him. But if he's all knowing, he knew which one was going to be the outlier and try to take him over. And I'm going down this way because I always find it interesting to ask, you know, like hardcore believers, and you know the hardcore believers. You know, do you think Satan is a victim? Yeah. To God. And they always kind of like get appalled, like they always like look at me weird by the word that I choose, because and there's no victims, right? When you're dealing with God, it's just His grace. Yeah. And I'm just like, nah, bro. He's all
think
knowing.
about it.
I'm like, help me out, help me understand. He's all knowing, right?
Yes.
He loves me, right?
Yep.
He gave me everything everything, my confidence, my lack thereof, yeah, He gave you all of that. Okay. Satan was an angel, right? Yeah. Okay. Satan was his right hand man, one of the most beautiful angels, right? Yeah. He gifted Satan with the ability to think, right? Yeah. Okay. So he said Satan was a martyr, right? I think I'm using that word correctly. He was a
Yeah. He died for his own beliefs.
Satan didn't ask to fucking be that confident in himself. God gave him the ability to feel that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like God was so specific in His choice of things, right? They even like what they do. They sacrifice sheep because they were easier to maintain than lamb, right? He's so precise and so specific. You're telling me Satan was an outlier? Satan was an accident to God? No, bro. He doesn't make accidents. He doesn't have accidents. He's God. So he is, by definition, was used. Him and all the other fallen angels. I'm not saying this to paint God in a negative light.
No, of course.
But I'm saying this.
It's just a perspective.
It's a perspective to take into consideration.
Yeah.
Because there needed to be evil in order for good to reign.
Correct.
And I just find it so interesting because it's almost like we are cursed, or at least my brain is led to think that we are cursed with the human condition. Because why couldn't we just live in that bliss that Adam and Eve lived in? I'm grateful for the life I have now. I think it's fucking dope. Even though I'm broken and struggling with it a lot, I think it's a beautiful life to live.
Are you grateful at the ability to even ask those questions?
I am.
Because that in itself is the curse.
Yeah, it is. Within reason, I'm grateful for it. But if you were to tell me that we could be born and just be happy, and I have to worry about all these superficial things that really don't fucking matter, bro.
Yeah.
Really don't, bro. They really, really don't. Yo me estoy fajando ahora mismo para ganar mi dinero.
Yeah.
Y cuando yo me muera, bro, that shit don't fucking matter, bro.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, bro. It doesn't.
The only thing that mattered was the time that you chose to.
You know what adolescent thought has been making me consider this?
Go ahead.
Taking a trip, bro. Putting myself into credit card debt to see the world. And I'm like,
I support that.
I said, yo, like, I'm in debt right now, and I didn't even enjoy shit, bro.
Yeah.
I haven't been out the country, bro. This shit doesn't even matter.
Bro, where's your passport?
I don't have one yet, bro.
Wow.
So, anyways, but I just find it so interesting that people don't even. I feel like sometimes they don't even really think about it. It's like, how could you not? He's all knowing. He created you. He created me. He created all this thought process. He created greed. He created fear. He created happiness, sadness, all of it, bro. He's the God of gods. He's the ruler, right? He created emotion. He created every fiber and atom. And he gave these people he gave Satan exactly what he needed in these two people. ¿Entiende?
I do. And even trying to reason why that is.
For what, bro? Why are you gonna change the entire? For what change? And this is where El Jefe también. I had this argument with him. I told him, do you think Satan won when he had Adam and Eve, take from the tree of knowledge? He goes, no. I'm like, why didn't Satan win? Because he won. I'm telling you, he won.
Well, yeah, to an extent.
He won. He made God reconsider the entire way he let people enter to heaven. With that situation alone, with that small influence, God had to restructure his entire process on letting people into the kingdom of heaven.
And you can't say that it was a mistake either.
You can't, because he's all knowing. Which one is it? Is he all knowing, or is he forgetful?
Or one of the arguments that I've heard from, and sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
One of the arguments that I've heard from Christians in regards to the free will is that although God is all knowing, He still allows people to have free will. Yeah. Which, okay, sure.
Do you really though?
Do you really what?
If that's what you believe in, do you actually though? He gave you just that little bit enough frustration. He gave you the life that you left. He has given you the life that you have lived that makes you project, because we're all walking reflections, right? We're all an embodiment of the things we have gone through, and we navigate the world as like walking mirrors, right? Yeah. We're the reflection of our community and what we've been able to digest.
Correct.
He has given you that.
Correct. I did not choose that.
He controls the input.
Correct.
So he has given you the amount of hatred you have in your heart right now.
Yep.
And he's giving you the amount of love you have in your heart right now too. That being said, if you control the ins, you control the outs.
Yeah.
It's just the way it fucking works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's giving you every single reason you have to feel right now. If you hate the color fucking green, he gave you the reason why you hate the color green. That traumatic experience that made you hate that color, he put that shit in front of you. So it's like, come on, bro.
It's a tough one, bro.
That is a tough one. And I'm happy. This is my ego's talking right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
almost, because you were that hyper Christian.
Yeah,
before.
for sure.
And
but even though I was a hyper Christian, I thought about everything very deeply.
Yeah.
And I have thought about this question of free will and things like that. This is why I challenge it so much and why I'm so comfortable challenging it.
Yeah.
Because I have thought about it.
Yeah. I've seen Christians almost get uncomfortable when we start talking about stuff like this. They start sweating and shit.
Bro, people are so 100% on what they believe that they don't even, bro, we don't know anything.
Yeah.
Let me put it into perspective, right? Because one of the things that I like to do is literally put things into perspective. Think about it like this, right? When would you most likely die? Like around what age, for example?
I'm Puerto Rican, so we got terrible genes.
Okay.
50 to 70.
50 to 70 time frame, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. You don't get no plus 100.
Yeah, no.
You don't get no plus 200. You don't get nothing. Like, that's it. Those are the genes. That's the biology that you were given. That's it. Like, whatever output you produced within that time frame,
that's all you get.
That's all you get. Right? So then, now we all have the same thing.
Yeah.
Every single one of us.
Yeah.
Right? Where, yeah, sure, maybe if you're Asian, you probably live to like 106. But
it's still a window, nonetheless.
Yeah, I guess. But to the extent of the argument, it's all the same. Right? So then, how can we, as an individual, even begin to comprehend a brain or a consciousness that literally transcends time?
Yeah.
How can we comprehend? How can we even begin to comprehend something like that, where Pluto is 30 years from now, right? It's half of my lifetime. Pluto, another planet.
Yeah.
Yet, by the acknowledgement of a God, requires me to believe that God was there prior to Pluto even being created. That he was the force, the +1 on the equation that made all these things happen. And yet I'm out here arguing with him or arguing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we bring up the topic of Job, where Job gets tired in his everything that has happened to him, and then he literally starts to question God, right? And it's beautiful. I cannot quote it off the top of my head, but there's a couple of paragraphs that a couple of verses that God is actually talking to Job, and he says, "Do you give the strength to the eagle to fly up into the sky? Are you there when the blue whales give birth to their offsprings? And do you guide them through the waters of warm water and cold water? Are you there? Are you the one that gives the strength to the lion to wake up every morning to go fight the gazelle or kill the gazelle? Are you the one?" And it goes back to the mentality of like, bro, you and I, our consciousness is just in one body. We're talking about a being that is everywhere at all times. So
I think it's quite fascinating to think about.
Mic drop.
Yeah, I think it's quite fascinating to think about, and that's why I live my life as if there is one.
Yeah.
Because also I think the contrary is very miserable.
That
it's
if
like,
there isn't a God?
Yeah, it's like, bro, what do you believe in? Nothing, bro? Come on.
What's wrong with believing in nothing?
No, it's just not. I don't feel like it's the most. Like you mentioned, we already have a very small window in life.
Yeah.
And I think that it makes the suffering within that window a little bit more bearable. For me, personally. I'm not saying that's a prescription for everybody. And not to mention, I think that with the lack of guidance in our world towards our youth and just people in general, there's a lot of lost, quote-unquote, spirits, a lot of lost people, a lot of lost souls. And I think that religious backing and a religious morale, if you will, is very beneficial to society and to children and to even adults who act like children.
It definitely gives a framework.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Our society is a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
right?
it needs one.
The 10 Commandments, etc.
Yeah.
I think it's almost necessary. And I think that, like I said, I mean,
it's almost a cradle of civilization when you really think about it.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
My brain is coming to that conclusion as we're talking about it. It really, really is. But more importantly, so for me personally speaking, it's almost a little bit easier to live life knowing that I can kind of just close my eyes and be like, yo, bro, what we doing right now? You know?
Yeah.
You got me?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, let's do it.
Yeah.
If I'm meant to get hit, or if I'm meant to, you know, meet this cop, or you know what I mean, like certain stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
that giving up of your free will, right?
Yeah, it's like let's talk about it, or let's do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hurry up. If I didn't believe in that, I can't imagine how even more alone I would feel in those situations where I don't know what's going on and I don't know what's gonna happen. I just can't imagine it, because when I was raised that way, gracias a Dios, right? This is, who's the fuck's that guy? It kind of just trickled into my adulthood, so I kind of don't really know what life is like without that. But I can't imagine it'd be any easier, because it already fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be very tragic. It'd be a fucking tragedy, right?
I don't know, man.
There's no resolution to it. It's just all this suffering for no reason.
Shit. I mean,
this got very existential.
I'm glad.
It's got very existential.
This was the idea of getting together to at least have some of these conversations.
I feel like I've been on the brink of existential crisis.
Yeah. I feel like I face one daily.
You feel like you face one
daily?
daily?
You know, especially having my daughter being born, it something cracked in my brain.
It hit you?
Yeah.
Like a truck, or like a motorcycle?
Like somebody dropped a planet on my head. Yeah. Like, I remember it first started when I first saw her heartbeat. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not normal. Like, yeah, sure, it's
a heart
normal,
thing.
But that's a heartbeat. That's an entity. Bro, we saw that at 4 weeks.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's wild. We saw that at 4 weeks. And when she was born, then I held her and I got home and did everything. I remember I had a moment where I was carrying her. And I was like, bro, you're going to be an old lady one day. Like, you're going to have your own set of problems.
Yeah. Your
own set of beliefs. Your own set of family. Your own set of love, etc., etc., etc. You're going to be an old lady, God willing. And one day you're going to pass away. And I did that to you.
Yeah.
She
didn't ask to be here.
She didn't ask to be here, as far as we know.
Yeah, I was waiting to see what you were going to add.
As far as we know. But to the extent where it's like, bro, we're literally giving life to then give death to our offsprings. And like shit like that, bro, is existential, like to the maximum.
Yeah.
Because you're just thinking about yourselves now. think about it like, dude, I gave this person life, or I didn't do much, but you know,
we don't have to talk about what you did.
Yeah, but to the extent where it's like, you know, I gave my part, sure.
Listen, your part is just as important. Right?
It is as important. It doesn't. There's no. The engine doesn't start without it.
Exactly. It takes two. You're literally like the spark plug.
Exactly.
Starter kit.
So you know, thinking about it like that, like damn, bro, like you dead ass, like you're in my arms right now, but one day you're gonna die.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of that has helped me also. Like that's why I had the first collection of my brand called Rot in Peace. Pudrir en paz. This is like die in peace, because it's coming regardless.
Yeah.
And nobody makes it out of life alive, bro.
Nope.
And it's just like no matter how much struggle and fight there is, and no matter how many goals there are, it's just like,
yeah,
bro, you gonna die too.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
yeah, I know.
Yo. And I know depending on where I'm at mentally in the moment when I think of that, it's beneficial. And at other times it's very counterproductive because it gives me like, what's the pointism? And
what's the pointism? I like that.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah, it's like, and when I get that, I have to like get out.
Yeah.
I can't be home, bro. I can't think. I have to like go force myself to do something.
It hits me when I have to go to work.
Yeah. Every morning for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when
it's
it
like,
hits me.
what is the point?
Yeah.
To make this person like me.
Yeah.
Or to punch in.
Yeah. Like, why am I here?
I know exactly how you feel.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, I joke about it because
that's all you really can do, right?
Yeah, I mean, you got to see the comedy out of the, what is it called? What are the two faces of
Laugh Now, Cry Later?
No, it's like drama and comedy. It's like the two faces of just like art in general. Like Bronx Theater. What were the two faces?
Yeah, it was that symbol, Laugh Now, Cry Later.
Exactly.
That's why I mentioned
Oh,
it.
gotcha.
Laughing face.
Laugh now, cry later.
And the crying face. Yeah.
It's like those are the two basically emotions that we ping pong back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like I used to joke about it where when I would see Selma and I'll tell her like, all right, baby, daddy's gonna go trade his life for $20 an hour. Okay, I'm gonna go and trade my life away instead of being here with you. All right, so you just be good and I love you and God willing I'll make it back and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, like Jordan Peterson says, life is a constant battle of opposites. And you're summing up exactly what he means. It's like you live to die, or you're fighting to be happy so that you're not sad. And when you're sad, you're fighting to be happy. And it goes down the rabbit hole. But
dude, I fight to make more money, right? And then at the end of the year, I have to pay more in taxes because I made more money.
Qué bello es la vida, ¿verdad?
What? So then I have to, because I have to pay more in taxes, I have to work harder.
Yeah, and you get penalized more.
To then pay the taxes that I now owe, which will then cause me to have more taxes in the future.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I came to that realization with my insurance thing. I was like, you know what? Okay, this is all it's going to cost for me to make sure I'm medicated monthly. Fuck it, bro. Let's do it. Even if I have to start an OF, I don't care, bro. I'm doing right. I have to be medicated. I'm a big boy now. Suck it up, nigga. Nobody cares, bro. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, that's it.
And I look at it and I go, okay, so I'll figure it out. Don't worry. And she goes, okay, well, you know that at the end of the year, at the end of the period, you gotta come in with your new stubs. I'm like, wait, hold on. What do you mean? She's like, yeah, your numbers get updated every year. And I was like, so I need to work more. I need to work harder this year to make sure I can comfortably afford that. You know that, right? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, so you're telling me now next year you're gonna run the numbers again off of the extra couple thousand I had to make in order to afford it to begin with. and go based off that? She said, yeah. And I said, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Wow. It's a catch-22.
You know how unfair that is to me?
Yeah.
I didn't ask to have Crohn's disease, bro.
Bro, I don't even use that word anymore.
I didn't ask for this injection to be my saving grace every 2 weeks, bro. You telling me that I have to pay that bitch, bro? I have to pay that bitch every year, bro. Even if I said, you know what? Fuck it, bro. Let's make 10 extra G's this year. Went crazy, bro. No weekends. Fuck women. Fuck Joelle, fuck all this shit. Just fucking trade my time for money and make sure I get medicated. Even if I did that next year, I'll be even held to a higher standard tax-wise. And insurance, because it's based off of the numbers that I pull.
Yeah.
And it just keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. And I'm just like in this rat race.
Yeah.
For nothing, bro. And I'm like, yo estoy jodido, bro. I gotta make it.
Fuck, bro.
Yo, yeah, so not to your extent because we're two different people, but I understand what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. This shit is like a big fuck you, bro. I've even looked into moving to a different country because of my disease.
Yeah.
Alone.
Did you?
Yeah, Finland is the happiest, reportedly the happiest country in the world with free health insurance.
But you gotta be a citizen.
You got to be a citizen in order to get that. And what country wouldn't want an EMS provider as a citizen? That's true. I'm a public servant. That's true. I'm a first responder. It's like that's a good point. So I've thought about this, and but Finnish seems way too difficult to understand and to learn. So I considered Australia and Canada. I like to say that all the demons spawn in Australia and make their way to the rest of the world. Oh, really? Yeah, because this is where all like the spiders is. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Canada is just very cold, and I'd like to die somewhere warm. Yeah, me too. But so I haven't really concluded it 100%. And then on top of that, I need to scrape up the cash that I would need to
even do the move,
make it over there, because I can't just walk over to Finland or Australia and be like, "Yo, what's good, guys?"
What a conundrum, bro.
I know.
Life itself is a conundrum. Yeah. It's almost a joke. Yeah. In the deepest sense, I don't know. So I'm sure one of these philosophers said it, but God is playing a big joke on us. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he is. He is. If you believe in him.
If you believe in him, for sure.
It's all a joke.
If we ever find life outside of Earth, then
I hope I meet you again.
That'd be cool.
It would be funny as fuck, right? To have it. Imagine, nigga.
That'd be cool.
Either I'll see you in hell or in heaven. It's just like, yo, what's good, bro?
If we find life outside of Earth, then all religion become null and void.
Let's land that there. What do you mean by that?
So let's just say that we find
you go to Mars.
Okay. Even deeper than that. Let's just say that we find extraterrestrial bodies.
Wouldn't they just say God created that too?
Why would you think? Well, yes. Yeah. Correct. But then all religions will become null and void because they all have a premises of a savior.
Isn't that already kind of the case?
Not only is it not only
the amount of religions that exist.
Yes, but they all focus on humans.
I see. We're not talking about the aliens, God.
Exactly.
I see.
Which again, who's to say that it's not the same God?
The Bible. It's supposed to be our bread and butter, right? They haven't mentioned shit about blue people or anything like that.
Neither has the Torah or the Quran.
Right. So.
So yeah, I've thought about that before.
Mind blown.
Yeah, that if we were to ever find extraterrestrial bodies, or intelligent life forms outside of Earth, then that by technicality, all religions do become null and void. Yeah. Yeah.
That's deep, bro.
That is deep. That's like a race against time.
Yeah. Well, guys, We appreciate you guys tuning in for episode 3 of the Academy of Man podcast. It was, as always, a pleasure talking to one of my best friends. And we appreciate you guys. If you guys haven't listened to episode 1 or 2, we encourage you to do so. Do not miss out on these conversations being had. And also, talk to us in the comments.
Yeah. We do want to hear. We do want to hear what you guys think overall of
and in general,
this
honestly,
podcast.
bro, I'm as stupid as I'll ever be in this very moment right now, right? So are you.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's okay. It's okay to kind of like call me out on my shit. You know what I mean? I'm speaking from my life experiences, and Joel can only speak from his life experiences.
Yeah, a lot of the things that we are discussing are hypotheticals as well, but there's a lot of knowledge to be had within those hypotheticals.
Yeah, and I hope we got to plant a seed in your brain today. I hope maybe we even answered some questions or help you look at things in a different light. That's always the goal with these things. And we love you. We appreciate you for listening. And Joel, take us home, man.
We will see you soon. Peace.